Good evening. Probably it was in the first year of Miracle Self classes, that being now 6 years ago. We were given a secret that if you had remembered and if you had stuck with, you wouldn't be here today. Because you'd be so free and joyous and full and purposeful that you'd never need another book, another class, another thought about truth. So obviously, because you are here, you didn't remember it, and you do still need another class. But I was just thinking as we were a little silent there, how we can utterly relax all our effort from the very moment we truly know truth and then let truth get on with being itself as us. We truly can. From that moment, we never need exert effort. It doesn't matter what the world appears to be doing or not doing, we never need to exert effort, we never need to be concerned, we never need to take thought about what we have and what we don't have, and how we're going to get what we don't have, keep what we do have, or get more of it, heal ourselves or our friends, the world. All of this is gone, and we're living pretty much, let's not say holy, but pretty much in a state of peace and bliss, non-attachment, nothing to do in the way of effort, in the way of making sure we are good, making sure we are protected, making sure we have enough of all the supplies we need to live this conceptual life. What we heard is this, and let me give it to you in this way. What if Jesus or Buddha or Isaiah or whoever it is that is your greatest and trusted spiritual light, what if that person, he or she, came right through your front door today and said, from this moment, my love, I will be your awareness. It'll be my awareness that witnesses everything of good for your experience. Everything. Right down to a little tiny flower. If you love flowers, you will have an abundance of them. If you want more life, more energy, more joy, more purpose in life and body, leave it to me. You never need take another single thought for it. I will be your awareness for you. And you know, and if you don't quite know, then I'll be that knowing for you, that all awareness is embodied. So you don't have to worry about the embodiment of the awareness I'm being for you. It'll instantaneously always be embodied. If you need dollars, you'll have a sufficiency of them wherever you go. It doesn't matter what the scenery looks like, or the condition looks like, or the circumstance looks like. You'll either naturally or appearingly, miraculously find yourself with all the dollars you ever need at and as every moment. You won't have 1 million that you can stash away in the bank unless you wish to feed 1 million people. Then you'll find yourself with the necessary dollars or food to feed those 1 million. But you will always find yourself with a complete and utter and limitless and unconditional supply of dollars or food or opportunity or friends or love or idea. Just leave it to me. Stop the effort. You never were required to make it. Never. If that happened, if this great illumined consciousness indeed did walk into your life this hour and promise you this, and never left your side, and yet was gracefully, visibly present when you wanted he or she to be, and completely invisible to you when you perhaps did not want he or she to be visible. But always the presence was right there with you. So very real and tangible that you knew it every minute, and you saw its fruitage. You saw its harmony, its life, its love, its abundance, its open doors, its freedom, its purpose, everywhere you went. The truth statements you've read came alive and were absolutely real to you now. The place whereon I stand is holy ground. It's miracle ground. Wherever I place myself, there's a miracle happening right here, just as if it's as natural as the grass in the fields is natural. There is the miracle of life, the miracle of God, the miracle of healing, the miracle of abundance, sufficiency, happiness, freedom. If that were the case, and if you were told that there is one condition, just one condition, would you do it? Would you uphold that one condition? And I'll tell you what that one condition is. That you never take your mind off me. That's all. It's the only thing you have to do. Just me for me, not me for flowers or dollars or healthy bodies or beautiful loving relationships or opportunity or peace in the world. Don't do that, because that's not keeping your mind on me, that's keeping your mind on something else. But if you keep your mind on me, for me alone, then you have all of my awareness. And because all of awareness is embodied, you then have the miracle awareness 24 hours a day for the rest of your life. Will you do that? Will you be able to maintain the awareness of just me for me and forget about the world and the way it looks and what it seems to need? Will you do that? Do you think you could do that? If Jesus walked in here right now and said this to you, do you think you could do it? He's always going to be right by you, either visibly or invisibly, but to sense, but right by you. And you know it, and you can communicate just as easily as we're communicating right now. If that happened, could you uphold that one condition? Would you? Or Isaiah, or Buddha, or Moses, Elijah, Paul, John, Shankara, Lao Tzu. Could you? You're scared to answer me in case I have a tricky response for you. I have no tricky response for you. That's it. That is it. That's all we have to do to witness the whole earth as God. Why is that true? Because the whole earth is God. And the only thing that makes it appear not to be is our attention and belief off somewhere other than God. Off making idols. We are the most productive beings ever created, even if we think we're not. We make idols, and beautifully perfect idols, 24 hours a day, and then worship them. We're an idol factory. And we work 24 hours a day. We don't even shut the factory for 1 hour. We work tirelessly 24 hours a day manufacturing idols. And then we say, where's God? Well, our whole universe is now so full of idols, we can't even see God. God's right there, veiled by walls and shelves and shelves and acres and skies of idols. If I came along and inspected your factory, your consciousness, even its production just in the last hour, shall we exclude the first 15 minutes of this message? Because maybe you haven't been producing as many idols for these last 15 minutes. But the hour before that, and the eternities before that, if we were to inspect your production and the quality of it, You'd win all kinds of awards for idol manufacturing. The best idols, the most consistent idols. No wonder consciousness does not have room to see God. No wonder. But what we've heard is 100% true. If you will know that all actually is God, the earth is full of the goodness of God. The earth is God. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. I am that, and besides me there is none else. Whatever I appear to be, whatever I appear to be doing, good or bad, it isn't what it appears to be, but it is I. And I am forever whole, complete, indivisible. There isn't a single power in the whole of the universe that can divide me, separate me, make me incomplete. Therefore, because whatever you're observing is me, everything you're observing is actually the completeness of that observed experience. And nothing in the universe can make it incomplete. You can believe, because you're believing in something other than me, that there is incompleteness. And because belief is experience, then that belief of incompleteness sticks around as your experience. You can believe you are lacking something, needing something, anything, of health or wealth or happiness or love or home, peace, security, justice, dollars. And because belief is experience, that believed lack or need will stick around as your experience. Even when you know that all is God, even when you're pretty sure you know that all is God, and yet you keep having something other than God in mind, then that something other lives as your experience. You have separated yourself from God, from the fullness of experience, by having an other. You haven't upheld that one condition, that is, keep your mind on me. Whatever you do, 24 hours a day, keep your mind on me, for me, not for anything else. There isn't anything else, even though it appears to be. So keep your mind on me, for me, just for the sake of me. Love the Lord, love God with all your heart and all your mind and all your strength. Isn't that what we're told? There it is. That doesn't mean love God so that God can give you some good physical health, or some good plentiful supply of dollars, or some good loving relationship. That's not loving God with all your heart. That's loving God with a tiny bit of your heart, as long as he produces you some goodies. Love God with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength and all your might. For God. There's the condition. And then you will watch any belief dissolve to reveal truth. When you're no longer using your awareness to be aware falsely, and now to be aware truthfully, then you watch all false belief disappear. There is no room in your awareness now for false belief, because you're using the fullness of your awareness to be aware of God. If I asked you to think repeatedly of an elephant 60,000 times a day, you'd have to be pretty repetitive. Elephant, elephant, elephant. If we do that, we really don't have any room in our awareness to go wandering off thinking about other things, do we? And this is the key. This is how much we keep our mind on God. And let's be aware, at least, that if Jesus did come right in here and say to you, I will be with you now, completely tangibly, and I'll be your awareness now, 24 hours a day, for the rest of your life, you'd never forget that. Your mind would always be full of the joy and the freedom of having Jesus right here next to you, walking side by side, being your whole and utter awareness, leaving you entirely free to simply relax and rest and enjoy life and discover your truth, discover your purpose and freely express it without any limitation, all the resources freely available. You'd never ever take your mind off the presence of that man, that illumined being, would you? Wow. And again, whoever it is for you, Buddha, Isaiah, John, whoever it is. Well, now, first of all, Jesus is right here next to you. Where else would Jesus be when omnipresence is the only presence? Jesus, or any of the great spiritual beings, saints, prophets, seers, aren't even 1 foot away from you, because omnipresence isn't 1 foot away from you, and omnipresence is where these great beings exist, just as you do and just as I do, and that's right here where I am. The place whereon we stand is omnipresence, is holy ground. So that's the first thing. We were talking about this a little earlier. If you want to sit down and talk with, be taught by Jesus or Buddha or any of them, you can. Because they're fully alive and right here where you are, right here where I am, and fully available. But the one condition is that you seek truth for truth. Seek them for nothing but truth. Then you watch how quickly you literally can find yourself sitting with any of the great masters in a beautifully tangible, vividly clear conversation. It's no mystery, really. God is right here, and God's not invisible. God is not intangible. There isn't any such thing. The only visible and tangible is God. There is nothing else, and there is nowhere else. So the perfectly visible and tangible whole of God is right here where you are, and everywhere you may go. You can't escape omnipresence. And secondly, if it's not one of the great masters that makes you feel more real in truth, but God itself, then all you have to do is keep your mind on the incorporeal. Keep your mind on God. But probably don't use that word because it's so steeped in orthodoxy that for many it's a difficult word. But the incorporeal is a simple word. Omnipresence is a simple word. Infinity is a simple word. So keep your mind on the incorporeal all day and night. Keep your mind on omnipresence all day and night. Keep your mind on infinity for itself all day and night, and then watch the miracle. If you do that, along with your awareness that all is already God, in other words, you're not trying to get the incorporeal to come along and produce a healthy physical body, but you understand that the incorporeal is the only presence, therefore the body is actually incorporeal already, and because it's incorporeal already, it is God already, it's full of health and life and vitality and beauty and eternality already, and all you're doing by keeping your mind on the incorporeal is being able to witness it now. You've cleared your consciousness out of that which is not incorporeal, and now incorporeal can perfectly well see the incorporeal as the image and likeness produced by the mind. In other words, the physical body now appears healthy, vital, beautiful, strong and eternal, which it is. The physical place is now full of God, full of good. Full of good supply, good opportunity, good love. Full of it. Prove it now, herewith. Malachi's just visited. Prove me now, herewith. If I will not, I though, the incorporeal, will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out blessings so great that you shall not have room to receive them or store them. Because the you that's receiving all this good is still a finite sense, and the finite can never have room to receive or store the infinite. And the infinite is what God is. So prove it. That's all you have to do. Prove it. How are you going to prove it? By keeping your mind on God. But keeping your mind on God with all your heart, with all your love, with all your strength, with all your soul. With everything you are, keep your mind on God alone. That's it. Never for anything. You never need to know how God is going to turn up as the good world, the good body, the good dollars, the good opportunity, the good relationship, the good safety, the good home and the good peace in the world. You don't need to know. You never were meant to know. You never were required to make any effort for your experience. All you were required to do is know the truth. Always know the truth that all is God. All-inclusive experience is all-inclusive God. And then keep your mind on God. Take no thought for the things of life, but keep your mind on the kingdom of God itself. And then watch the miracles of God as your tangible life. Then the miracles of truth are unconditional, because they are already there. Then the miracles of life are omnipresent and infinite, because God is omnipresent and infinite. So when you pour or observe omnipresence and infinity through the mind, there you have omnipresent and infinite form. And because God is good and nothing else, you have omnipresent and infinite good form. And if it's today not looking very good, then as you now keep your mind on God, you'll quickly see it as good and realize, well, it was good all the time. But I, because I wasn't keeping my mind on God, created a veil that made what is actually and always perfectly good and whole and eternal appear to be temporal, variable, incomplete, painful, unjust. But that was my doing. It wasn't God's doing. Here's what I suggest you do. Will you, though? Will you? Or will the highly suggestive appearance of a lack of God in your world pull you away, win you over, and make you struggle some more? This is the only question. And again, let me remind you that I did just that for 20 years. So, it's not easy, but I have a feeling that you are perfectly ready and able to do what we'll now suggest. First of all, if you need to, or want to, go back and listen to particularly the recent classes of the last 6 months, any of them and every of them, and brush up your awareness that indeed all is God. Make sure you're really aware that all is God, despite appearance, never mind about appearance. Just you be aware that all is God. So aware that you can walk around your world and know that all is God. Appearance may, for this moment, look everything but God. But ignore that and make sure that your awareness is sufficient that you can walk around and realize that all is God. You can look out. Don't keep it within. Look out and realize all of this is God. Okay? First thing. Now, get a little timer. And you're going to set that timer each hour to start with for 5 minutes. Now, you adjust this as you want to, but I think we're hearing a wonderful, practical way of lifting into complete and utter trust and relaxation in the presence of God. Thereby, the practical way of witnessing God as all experience. So set your timer each hour for just 5 minutes to begin with. Press that starter, and what you're going to do for those 5 minutes is, come what may, keep your mind on God, for God. Holy. Your mind is on God, for God. And then for the remaining 55 minutes of that hour, you just get on with your life. And you will probably find yourself, because of those 5 minutes of very good keeping your mind on God, you will probably discover that your mind pretty well stays on God throughout the rest of the 55 minutes. Or it keeps coming back to, it keeps remembering, oh, only God is. Only the incorporeal is. You'll discover that. All right, for the first day or 2 or 3, carry on doing that. Every hour, set that timer and keep your mind on God alone, for God alone, for just 5 minutes per hour. When you're ready, tomorrow or a few days' time, 10 minutes. For 10 minutes an hour, you are going to keep your mind on God for God alone, come what may. And then you know the rest. 15, 20, 30, 45, 60. Do it. By the time you get to 30, you won't need the timer anymore. You just keep your mind on God, and you will find that you're able to do things, you're able to go off and be involved in the world at the same time as keeping your mind on God. And why is that? Why do we develop that ability? Because no matter who we're interacting with and no matter where we are and what we're doing, all is God. Doesn't make any difference. All being is God, all thing is God, all place is God, all activity is God. And so we're singing the awareness of God all day long and all night long. God for God. And keep remembering that this is exactly the same as if Jesus were to walk right into your life and promise you what we've heard, as long as you did keep your mind on Him and Him alone, for Him alone, or any of the great seers or prophets. It's exactly the same thing. And I promise you that it will not take very many days until you begin to see truth pop through your earth like springtime pops through as the flowers and the billions and billions of flowers and colours and fragrance. Your health will come through. Your vitality will come through. Your awareness is coming through. That's what is the popping through of all your truth. Your dollars will come through. Opportunity will knock at your door. I promise you. But if you get lost, if you go astray because the appearance seems to be so real and lacking God in any of the ways of good, then you've been pulled back out, you're not keeping your mind on God, and you're going to have to start again. If you had only the last of life left in you, as your physical sense, and you heard and abided in what we've been given tonight, and therefore just sat down and kept your mind on God, for God, forgetting about your body and forgetting about its state of health, according to your degree of awareness. And you just sat there, totally, 100%, letting God become the fruits of your life, letting God come through as your conscious awareness as life, then it really wouldn't be too many hours before indeed your body was filled with life and picked itself up and started going about as normal. Because your body never is lacking life in truth, which means in actuality. Only your sense of it is lacking life. Your body never is. And so as our sense is now being filled with only God, for God, then the veils of false belief drop away to reveal the truthful body. If you are down to your last dollar or last penny, and there was seemingly no way of getting even sufficient dollars for your next meal, let alone your rent or your mortgage or all the commitments that you and your family perhaps are committed to. If this was your case, and you now hear what we've heard tonight, and abided by it, and sat down in a chair or in the middle of the desert, doesn't make any difference, and kept your mind on God alone, for God alone, and I should add, and I don't think I added on our last example about health, but I should add that as you keep your mind on God for God alone, you will feel a great peace welling up, and then you just stop and you bathe in that peace. Bathe in that peace. Bathe in God for God alone. If you do that, then it will not be too many hours or too many days, perhaps, if your belief is really, really caught up in appearance, before all the dollars you need walk right through your door and present themselves to you in any of the infinite variety of ways that can happen through material consciousness. Opportunity calls, opportunity opens the door, a gift arrives, an inheritance is sent to you didn't even know about. Whatever, there are infinite ways in which it can happen. You go to your letterbox and there is an envelope full of dollars. It doesn't make any difference. They're here right now. Infinite dollars are here right now, but false belief has thrown up a veil between your sense and the truthful awareness, the truthful body, and so you can't see them. But they're here right now. And so do you understand that all you're having to do ever is not actually heal something or prosper something or pacify or harmonize anything, but lose that false sense for truthful sense. And then there, right where you are, is your sufficiency, is your harmony, is your life, is your opportunity, is your good. If your mind is tangled up in how is this going to happen? How are dollars going to come to me? Then you're not keeping your mind on God. You're keeping your mind on dollars and the avenues of dollars, the ways of dollars, the channels of dollars. And that has no God in it whatsoever. And so you'll find yourself still devoid of dollars. But if you keep your mind on God alone and realize that all is actually here, although I can't see it yet, and now I know why I can't, and it's because I've been keeping my mind on everything but God, and now I keep my mind on God, for God alone, and rest in the peace that wells up and fills my world, then the veil of misbelief falls away, and there is all the sufficiency you need in any and every department of life. So what you have to do is root out the thing and the way of the thing, the seeming avenue, the seeming activity that brings you good health or brings you sufficiency of dollars or brings you good love or whatever it might be. You have to get rid of all this false sense and false belief and replace it with truthful sense and truthful understanding, truthful awareness, which is God and God alone, for God alone. And then your consciousness is clear. All the veils of false belief have been dispelled. And there, standing right where you are, is your good in all the forms of good life, good earth. Will you do it? Do you have the strength to stick with truth and be it? Or do you not quite yet have that strength and are going to be pulled back down in your weakness to that which appears to be and continue the struggle? It's up to you. There's one gift I can give you. And that is, I can be your strength. So in the same, hold on. In a similar way, if you keep your mind on me, but remember that me is not Paul, teacher, but the truth that appears as Paul, teacher. But it's okay to associate that truth with the image of teacher. That's okay. Because by so doing, you will be reminded of truth, and that's why it's okay. Paul has nothing for you. The truth that appears to be Paul has everything for you. The window has no sunshine for you, but the transparency the window is has all the sunshine you want. And this is true of teacher. So, I can be your strength. And I only say can be because there's a condition to it. And that is that you keep your mind on me, capital M. You keep your mind on truth. You keep your mind on the window. Realizing that where that window is sunshine. Where the window of teacher is truth. Shining through as your truth. Illuminating your whole being and your whole world. And so keep your mind on truth. And then you will discover, because you and I are so beautifully connected, we're one in consciousness. All connection is consciousness, of course. All is consciousness. So all connection is consciousness. So as soon as you are aware of me, then you are in my consciousness. That makes sense? But again, you have to know that. Otherwise you're having a false belief about it and you've again blocked yourself from the truth. So there is your help, your strength. So even if you think you don't have sufficient strength to stay upright in spirit, and work those 5 minutes, and then those 10 minutes, and so on, until all hour long, every hour long, you are literally able to keep your mind on truth for truth, then I can be that strength for you, and indeed am. And it is the greatest privilege to have you, to be able to commune in truth together. So now, do you think you can do this? Because the treasures of it are abundant. The fruits on your branches of life are this very minute abundant. but you cannot see them. So all we're doing is dispelling that false veil of belief to make your fruits perfectly visible to you. We heard in one of the recent meditations, I forget which one, maybe yesterday's, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, we heard that you need do nothing about truth. You need do nothing. What you have to do is stop doing everything you've been doing. Stop it. Stop manufacturing idols. And instead do nothing about truth. And truth is this world. So stop doing everything about this world, because all you're achieving is the blocking of the truthful world it is this very second. Full of every good. Do you believe that? Do you believe that your body is full of nothing but eternal life? This very body. There isn't a temporal body. Maybe you believe there is. Maybe you believe this body will die one day. No, it will not. Your belief will die one day. And because belief is experience, it will appear as if your believed body dies. You're carrying right on. But it will seem as if your believed body dies. But that's simply a body full of belief that's dropped down there. Your body never dies. Only God is, and God is eternal, and God is omnipresent, invariable, inseparable. You can't be separated from your body. Your body can't die. There is no death in God. Do you believe that your body, maybe this is the problem. Maybe we just don't believe God is literally what we are, who we are, what we have. Maybe we don't. Maybe we should have a whole class on belief. Maybe we should have a whole year of classes on belief. Do you not know that your body is the temple of the living God? The very body of the living God. Well, perhaps you believe that God will die one day as your body. God won't die, but God as this body will die. Now, what foolishness is that? Or maybe you don't believe that God is infinite and omnipresent, and that through the mind, that infinity and omnipresence appears as all the forms of good, including all the forms of dollars. Maybe you don't believe that. Maybe you think, as I used to think, that God, or at least as I used to not understand, that God really is what appears to be dollars. I didn't understand that. I thought that somehow dollars had to be produced by my God awareness. That a lot of good things were going to suddenly open up because and caused by my God awareness. And of course they never did. Until I stopped the nonsense and lifted my consciousness up into God alone, for God alone. And then there God is. So, let us stop for tonight, We've had a good and solid and substantial message. We have a way given to us. All that we have to now do is go off and exercise that way. And if you do, I promise, and I'm sure I'll hear about from you, that it won't be many hours. It can't be many hours. It's impossible. Or many days before you open those eyes and see the perfect sufficiency and beauty and joy of God as earth. Perfect sufficiency as everything of earth. Henceforth, I refuse to partake of life until the kingdom of God has come. There's the entire secret. I refuse to partake of the life in my body or the joy of body, the expression of body. I refuse to partake of business or teaching or practice. I refuse to partake of my relationship. I refuse to do anything more with my home. I refuse to cook dinner. I refuse to go to the market for dinner. I refuse to partake in the whole of life until I have kept my mind on God for God alone, and then sat there in the middle of God and let God be my awareness for me. Let all the fruits of God become perfectly tangible and visible for me. Just as the vine is able to say, I refuse to partake of the fruits of myself until they're visible. Perfectly obvious, really, isn't it? I can't partake of anything unless the fruits are visible. Then I can partake as much as I like. So I'm going to sit here in the ground, in truth, and knowing that the fruits are already there as they are on the vine. The fruits are always there. Until the visibility of them have come into my awareness. And then I will get up and I will serve of them. I will go and give them. I'll go and express them as my talent. I'll give them as my donations and my gifts to the world. Whatever they are. The gifts of your talent, the gifts of your writing, your art, your creativity, your innovation, your love, your teaching, your friendship, your help, your service. Whatever it is, they are the fruits, but they're only there to be given, to be partaken of, when the kingdom of God has come and made them perfectly visible and tangible. Then you get up and you serve them all day long. And you'll find that then as you stay in truth, they will never disappear. They'll never run dry. Again, even if it appears as if there are ups and downs, there's a lovely flush of fruits and then a slowing down of the fruits. Don't you believe a minute of it. Jesus had the very same experience. He was not, let's remind ourselves, walking around with enough loaves and fishes to feed 5,000 people, just in case 5,000 people needed feeding. The loaves and fishes became obvious, became visible and tangible at the moment when the need was there. And this is the same with us. So as long as we're not projecting our thoughts to the future and thinking, oh my golly, right now I seem to have insufficient life or insufficient dollars or insufficient whatever it might be, love or idea, for next week when I need it, or for next month when I need it, or when all the bills drop through the letterbox. when the demand presents itself, which is idol making, you're back in your factory making all kinds of false idols. If you stop that and you just live in the moment, live in the now of the fullness of God. But the way of it, we must realize, is keeping our mind on God, for God alone. That's it. Because actually there is nothing but God, even though it appears as if there's a multiple, an infinite multiple of everything but God. Actually, it is all God. Simply the multiplicity of mind form. That's all. So if you will do this, then you will find, moment by moment, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, you discover that everything you need is always there. It always works out. Always. Infallibly. But you must keep your mind on God, for God alone. Go off and have the strength to do it this week. And perhaps you'll let me know how it went in 1 week's time. And I can promise you you'll have some beautiful things to report if you stick with it, hour by hour, for the week. Even a miracle or two or 10 to report. Thank you. Good night.
I hope you enjoy this spiritual audio. Like, share and subscribe for more.